Activism, a practice that emphasizes direct, vigorous action, especially in support of or opposition to one side of an issue. Most teenagers in today's world would tell you standing up for what you believe in is one of the most important things that a person can do. This is essentially what activism is, but we don't seem to see it that often in the majority of young people. Why is it that youth are often dismissed or even discouraged in their activism? We think the main issue is a misunderstanding of activism. This is a problem because the world needs more activists, people making the world nicer. And no better fit to this task is there than teenagers. We would like to refresh the idea of activism and firmly urge youth to step out and stand up to make the world a better place.
Teens are important. Although adolescents seem to be the most collectively misunderstood age group in society, we young people do have a lot to offer. Yes, there are the mood swings, careless actions, and eye rolls, but teenagers are unique from other age groups in a few different ways. Teenagers tend to have more open minds when compared to adults, and unlike most children, teens can generally hold leadership positions to implement the new, innovative ideas that they have. Teens also tend to be passionate about their beliefs and willing to fight a little, make some noise. These traits make teens essential to any movement and also give them the potential to be some of the most influential activists.
We cannot forget the young people in history who made differences that have changed our world forever. Think of the 60s when the Little Rock Nine chose to stand up and do what so many feared, and set the stage for a civil rights movement that bettered America. Think of Louis Braille, who invented the Braille system at 15 and made it possible for millions of blind people to use this better system of reading. Think of Mary Shelley, who changed horror novels forever at the age of 18 and inspired thousands of girls to become writers themselves. They each stood up in their own way, but left a page in our history books that we can learn from. Teenagers are capable and valuable.
And the creativity was not lost in history. Still today, teens show innovation and drive all of the time. We have Ionet Budistianu, a 19-year-old who invented a cheaper version of Google's self-driven car. Brittany Wenger, 19, created a groundbreaking new breast cancer detection tool. Parisa Jihangidizadeh, 15, founder of NMR Club, which encourages and enables youth leaders. Julia Schemmer, 18, serves as CEO of two organizations and is a reporter for major news networks. Maya Penn, 15, runs a non-profit organization that she started when she was just 11 years old. We could go on and on listing amazing young people and their contributions to society, but we think our point is made. Youth are important and should not be left out of activism, which brings us back to our main issue. What exactly is activism, and why should people support the young activists?
Another dictionary definition for activism is efforts to promote, impede, or direct social, political, economic, or environmental change. This definition is pretty inclusive, however, it is leaving out a point that we believe to be essential to the essence of activism. The very word contains the stem act, which means to do something. We believe that activism is to do something, anything, to make the world a little bit better. It's not to be standing by or to be passive, but to be actually engaged in evoking change in the world. Activism does not have to be all about demonstrations and rallies. An activist is someone who stands up for what they want to see happen in the world around them. So while your protesters and rally goers are indeed activists, so is the little kid who picked up someone else's trash and the neighbor who mows another's lawn. And so is the inventor and the author and the artist and the pastor and the teacher and the coach. By seeing a positive thing that they want done and then doing said thing, they become an activist. Activism is being practiced when someone chooses not to stand by, but rather to stand up and take action outside of their normal convenient routine to make a situation better than before. We might do better to rename an activist an upstander, and to rename activism as upstandingism. If people are encouraged to be upstanders in their youth, then they should grow up to be upstanders in adulthood, thus creating a whole generation and later future generations of upstanders.
Most people would agree that they want to make the world a better place, and say they want to stand up for what they believe in. Dreaming of a better tomorrow is one thing, but it actually takes actions to make something happen. There are a plethora of reasons why a person could choose not to engage in upstandingism, or why they might discourage others not to, and it's understandable that everyone has other things to do, but it's not entirely excusable. Okay, so maybe everyone does not start an organization, write a book, or travel around the world performing pro bono surgeries. However, as mentioned before, these things are not required to be considered an activist. Simple things lie within the realm of upstanding as well. Volunteering with a community service group, encouraging people to vote in the local elections, or even asking someone to lunch who's usually alone, are all actions that make the world just a little bit better. Yes, teenagers may seem underqualified, or they don't have the life experience of a typical adult. However, teens are unique in that they get to create and pave the experiences for others to come after them. Think of all the times teens say, this should happen, or why isn't this particular thing this particular way? Imagine enabling that young person to actually pursue that change and make a difference.
The future is dependent on how we are today. By creating a generation of upstanders, we are creating a better tomorrow because activists, upstanders, make the world a little less lonely, a little less sick, a little bit cleaner, a little more colorful, or a little bit nicer. Teens need to be encouraged to take action and know that they are supported in their upstandingism. Upstanding can change everything, and that's why the world needs more activists.